Absolutely. It's huge news. And I know we're all sick of hearing this word over the last few years, but it is absolutely unprecedented. He really hasn't been in the position for very long. And what I've been saying, since this story broke is initially the major concern here is we know that investors and the market at large dislike uncertainty more than they like tough times. And unfortunately, because of this development, there is now a great deal of uncertainty about who is going to take the top job on a full-time basis. The market has been incredibly supportive of Looney's efforts, particularly on the kind of the net zero targets, and the green strategy has kind of cast a bit of a shadow on some of its rivals, and the market needs proof that the next person sitting in that chair is going to pick up that strategy and run with it. So I think sentiment is going to be kind of pretty muted until we have a better idea of who is going to be taking the position.
Sophie, let me pick up on your point around the pace here and the pace of transition, because Bernard Looney was cutting a very decent jog towards getting towards those better targets on emissions. And when it came to hydrocarbons, he just scaled that back a little bit by 2030, I should say, to 25% from levels that were at 40% as they talk about the 2019 levels to getting to the 2030 targets. What happens from here? Do you think anyone incoming could actually slow that pace down further?
I think at this point, with such little information, I certainly can't rule that out. I do think that were that to happen, were they to put further brakes on the renewables and the green side of things, I do think there'd be negative reaction. I think there is growing noise, as we all know, towards the oil majors about their green credentials, because this is how their businesses are going to be future-proofed, essentially. And BP really is kind of on the front foot compared to peers, as I was saying. So I do think that if somebody does come in and start slowing that side of things down, I don't personally think that would be a particularly prudent move. And I think at the moment, I'd go out on a limb and say I don't think that's what we're going to be seeing, at least immediately, as a new strategy.
Yeah, Sophie, good morning to you. Near $90 a barrel then for both WTI and Brent, in and around that mark. How long does that cushion last for then for BP? Does it at least cover up this situation for them in terms of revenue for some time until they're able to get their ducks in a row in terms of leadership?
I'm kind of in the camp that says that this oil price movement is actually an incredibly limited cushion. The market is wise to the fact that oil prices are cyclical in nature anyway. So that's why we've seen, we have seen moves upwards in BP's share price because of the oil price movements. But actually, we haven't seen crazy off the charts spikes because of it. And that is because investors are aware that cycle will turn at some point. So really, in answer to that question, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a sentiment buffer, but really quite minimal, because everybody knows that this can't go on forever.